boys and girls, rhinos, reptiles, rednecks, whoever you are, thanks for watching and welcome to the OH.Report video podcast. I'm the circus ringleader around here. They call me Brian, but I'm far from being alone on this crazy train. Joining us today is the only single guy on planet Earth who can't seem to find a date on Tinder. So ladies, try swiping to the right and give it up for the adorably available Travis Berardi. There he is. Let's take a look, huh? All right.
How you doing?
Who could say no to that?
Thanks, buddy. Great.
Well,
great.
if a shape could describe a person, our next star could only be portrayed as an amoeba who swallowed an extra large pizza with an egg-shaped melon on top. It's none other than Storm Lunchley. Another looker. We've got some stunning people here in the building today. And finally, we've got a guy so handsome, I'm telling you what, and sweet. It's like if Brad Pitt made a baby with the puffs, Marshmallow Man, and wait till you see those puppy dog eyes that just make you melt, guys. Garret, G-Man, Parlet. What's up? How you guys all doing today?
Doing great, Brian, as always.
Happy to see you all. It's a little bit different. We're normally in our own living rooms or basements, or you guys on two different levels of my house while I'm at my mom's house. So we're actually all here together at once. We'll see how this all goes. But I'm thinking we're going to get a little bit more craziness, a little bit more conversational. Let's just go ahead and dive right into what is the latest chatter, at least from what I'm hearing. People are really enjoying these challenge videos, and we got to give all the props to our guy Garret putting himself out there. Me and Travis have been involved in a couple. Storm jumped in for one, but G-Man, you've definitely been the star. People are loving it. What is the latest? What can people expect to see in the next competitions coming up? Because I know the people are loving it.
Well, Brian, we got a few more coming up. We talked to Peter King, me and Storm, that he wants us all to come out and try to be goalie against them and see if we can stop some of their penalty kicks.
Ooh.
As well as I challenged Landon McFrederick. Not sure when that's going to happen, but I'm trying to get all the contact information down, and then whenever that's ready to go, we're heading out to Ashland to challenge their wide receiver.
Okay, so we haven't done soccer yet. I know that we're all probably not great on the pitch, but that could be fun. Try to take on some of those Lex strikers and see if we can stop a few goals. So, hey, we tried to call out Ontario girls cross country, didn't hear anything back. I don't know why they're so scared. We're not that fast, but probably faster than them, evidently, if they don't want to hit us back on the Twitters. I saw Isaac Brooks, too, also wants a piece of us, so we'll just have to make sure that we have time in the schedule, and we'll be out there over to Rams practice. We'll take you on, man, maybe. I thought what would be most fair if we can set up some hurdles and see if he can hurdle around the track faster than we can actually run as a team. So consider it done if you want a piece of this.
Do you think you could go over some hurdles while you're running? I wouldn't. I face plant first hurdle. I know it. I am not that coordinated.
I ain't hurdling.
No, I'm not
you guys?
No.
I think we're all well past our prime when it comes to the hurdle game. So we'll leave that to Isaac, but I think we can at least foot it around the track. Just maybe not as fast as he can, jumping over a whole bunch of different things. So, yeah. Okay. Well, let's talk about soccer just in general then, and not us playing soccer. How about the real players here in our area on the high school pitch? Storm, I know this is something that you wanted to discuss and talk about. Who are some of the teams that you're kind of eyeballing that you think we all need to keep a watchful eye on once the season starts in about a month? It's right around the corner.
Yeah, I definitely think Ontario girls soccer, that's always going to be the team to watch. They were right there on the edge last year, and I think one more year of development under their belt, I think that's going to be enough to get them over the hump, as to say. But I think a sleeper pick, Madison Lady Rams. I think a lot of people are doubting them. I think that's going to be a trap game for a lot of teams. So the Rams are my underdogs for the season, and I definitely think Ontario is going to be the team to beat.
Man, the Lady Rams are just so young this year, Storm. They graduated, of course, an astounding class that you just don't see come through very often. So we'll see. I know if their schedule's really hard, but if anybody can get them playing up to a higher level, it's going to be Zach Huff. What's your thoughts, She-Man? Who you keeping an eye on?
I agree with Storm with Ontario, but I'm going to go out to the boys' side and go with Lexington, man. I think Coach Tim he's a very good coach. He's always on top of them. And they're very respectful. When they were coming up giving us interviews, man, they were, thank you guys so much. So I really think Lexington, they're very disciplined. I think they're going to be a very surprised team, even though they lost a big senior class last year, just like Madison.
Okay. Travis, you got anybody in mind?
I think the Ontario boys, they were a young squad last year, started winning some games late. But not only them, but both teams down in the valley, Clearfork. They finally got that winning wave going down there on the girls and boys side. I know they graduated a lot, but I just think they're one of those teams that, you can always talk into consideration for that district semifinal spot. Now, I think we literally have a good three teams that could always make that district semifinal. Now, maybe 4-2. I know Madison boys were really down last year, but the Madison girls, honestly, if they can play solid defense and Nevaeh Lewis gets loose for a couple of those goals that like she showed last year, like she showed in the state championship game,
Yeah.
Madison can still be one of those teams to look for if they can just continue to play solid defense and let their 1 or 2 scores that they still have from last year get it into the net.
They're the most intriguing team to me now that the Taylor Huff era is over. And then that, like I said, that senior class was just loaded, man. So many great athletes, not just soccer players, girls that were so gifted in so many other different sports. But the right answer here is the Ontario Lady Warriors. I mean,
it is.
They are the team now. They have the top flight talent. They got a couple of kids that could be D1. Addie Turnbaugh, everyone knows about Kyla Spencer, a couple-time All-Ohioans. So that's the team that I'm most excited to see. On the boys' side, I don't really know, man. This is a really weird one. This seems like around a roulette. I don't know who to bet on. I don't know what the strategy would be, except for maybe Ashland. The Ashland boys always seem to be right there in the mix. They play that D1 schedule. They're super talented. We'll see if they're the team that can leap up and be the number 1 squad here in our area, which for the last several years, it's been those Lexington Minutemen, and Peter Tem, he's got it rocking and rolling. So the boys, bit of a crapshoot to me, but the girls, I think there's no question Ontario is going to be the team to keep an eye on. Had a chance to talk with one of their members of their coaching staff today. Boy, are they excited, but they're trying to temper their expectations. They don't want to come into the year too confident, so hopefully they have a leader a la a Taylor Huff that can let everyone know, yeah, we're good, yeah, we're undefeated, but guess what? Wins don't mean nothing until we get into the tournament. That, I think, might be the one question mark for them. Do they have like a senior captain and leader that can keep everyone's heads level when they are thrashing the competition at the beginning of the year?
Well, you also talk about, Zach Huff leading the team, Larry Atkinson. I mean, one of the best coaches in the area, in the state.
In the state,
yeah, as well. But, having a coach like that, he's able to, keep everybody calm, temper those expectations one game at a time. He's always like that. He had Ontario playing a really good Madison team in that district championship that you and I called. They were, putting it right to Madison until that second half when Taylor Huff and company started pulling away. But I think Ontario's this year's, Madison. I think they now are that top team to beat, and they have a chance to play. I don't know if it's either going to be MAP-free or the new stadium down in Columbus. We'll talk about that in a little bit, but I think they're that team that, we can look forward to maybe a possible back-to-back Richland County, at least state Final Four.
Ooh, how about that? Putting a little bit of evil on their shoulders there, Ricky Bobby, throwing it just right out there.
One of us got to do it, right?
Why not? All right, so the girls, we all agree, and then for the boys, maybe just hold our judgment. At least you high on Lexington.
It'll be at least fun to see because it's so wide open.
Well, one thing I know that we all have an opinion on is pizza. We all like eating it because who doesn't? It's arguably the best food in America that we have here at our disposal, but not all pies are created equally. Today's burning question that I present, what chain pizza company has the best tasting slice? Storm, I know that you're an expert in this field. Go ahead, lay it on us one layer at a time.
Yeah, I have a PhD actually in pizza eating, so I think, East of Chicago, probably, my favorite chain. Their taco pizza, if you can find East of Chicago that serves fries, if you get fries with the pizza, oh my gosh, that'll feed you for 2 straight days. It's incredible. And even their regular pizzas are pretty good. I was going to come into Domino's, but I had some Domino's last night. Upset my stomach, wasn't really feeling it, so definitely going to have to go with East of Chicago for this one.
Yeah, bad timing for Domino's to let you down right before we have this conversation, and I love that you start a pizza conversation with French fries and tacos. What do you got for me, G?
Well, Brian, if I had to pick, my favorite menu would be Pizza Hut because they got a lot more to offer than everybody else. But pizza, I got to go Domino's. They're my favorite. A few years ago, though, Domino's used to not be as good. Not really sure what happened. I think they switched to like a buttery garlic crust.
Yeah, they changed the crust.
Yeah,
it was a whole big advertising thing.
Yeah, so I'm going to go with Domino's. That'll probably be my favorite chain restaurant to get a pizza from.
You agree with the Domino's pick?
I'm a sucker for the stuffed crust Pizza Hut. That's my thing. I love stuffed crust pizza. G-Man and Storm, they look like stuffed crust pizzas, so that's one thing you gotta talk about. But that's my big thing. You got that buttery whatever sauce that they have that they add with the pizza. You just dip that in there. Perfect. Add the
More
calories.
Yeah. But if you're gonna go pizza, you're already throwing the diet out the window. You may as well go all the way. So that's why I actually have to agree with Travis on this one. I think by and large, I probably like Domino's. I'm even a sucker for Little Caesars. Just that the $5 pizza's not bad.
Yeah.
But if you're talking about just one pie and I get to order it, I'm going with that stuffed crust pizza or the cheesy bites they had at that one time.
Oh yeah.
I'm with you too. I'll dip it in the garlic sauce and then I'll double dip. I don't care. I go right into the marinara after that, so I just get all sorts of flavors exploding in my mouth.
It's a very underrated mix, that garlic sauce and the marinara together.
I think you almost have to have them
Yes.
together, at least for me. Yeah, and I don't ever care about other people's feelings. Sir, you just had 3 bites of your crust and you dipped it in all the sauces. Yeah, and it was glorious with each passing bite.
You dipped the chip, you took a bite, and you dipped again.
But that's the national chains. What about here locally? Because we have some great pizza chains. I never order from Pizza Hut or Domino's. Sorry, guys. My money always is shopping local when it comes to pizza. Do you have a favorite local pie here, Storm?
Well, I'm more from Ashland, so I'd have to say like Dorlo's. That's more the Ashland area. That's probably my favorite. They have really good potato wedges. I don't know why I like fries so much at pizza places,
Right.
but their like potato wedges come with cheese and bacon on top, and then you dip that in ranch. Oh my god!
Yeah.
And
Ooh,
they
that was
give
a
you.
pizza.
I don't know. That's just my favorite place. But then you also can get your own little personal pan pizza. I always get the Hawaiian pizza from there. I know I'm a pineapple on pizza guy, so.
But how many of those do you need to fill you up? About 4?
If I get the potato wedges, it's just one. But I could eat probably like 4 in one sitting if I was just eating pizza. But that's probably my favorite local place. Just greasy enough, just enough French fry for me. So yeah, I gotta give it a Dorlo's.
Man, never even heard of Dorlo's.
haven't
G-Man,
either.
what about you?
Man, I gotta go with Bueller's, man. You guys gotta come out and try
That's
some
it.
of their pies, man. They're pretty insane. Always going on my lunch break, going out there and checking out the buffalo chicken. Now, there's an interesting topping they put on it. Instead of green onions, it's celery. And it's actually pretty good. I thought I wasn't gonna like it. Yeah, it's a little different, but it's pretty good. So you guys have to come out one day and try it. So I'm gonna go Bueller's on my local food restaurant for pizza.
Wow, going with a little superfood topping. I've never even heard of celery on a
Yeah.
pie. I didn't think that I would want to, but I don't know. If
Try it.
G-Man approves, it must be
You
good.
gotta try it.
Jack?
I'm a Giannino's guy. I love their pizza. I actually brought it, you and I, Brian, were at Jake Furr's house for a little cornhole with the Ontario coaching staff of football. And everybody brought different pizzas from different areas of Richland County, but Giannino's, it's really good. You get the sausage, pepperoni, cheese.
It's too cheesy.
Yeah, I too also like Giannino's, but it's not my favorite. The one pizza that didn't make an appearance at Jake First's house, because unfortunately they are closed on Saturdays right now, but that is the Warrior, hands down in our area. They got the special sauce. It's sweet, it's savory, whatever they're putting in that. I think a little bit of love. I think a bunch of young kids make it too, so they might throw in some secret ingredients. I don't know what they're doing out there, but it tastes great to me. The Warrior is easily my favorite.
I love their calzones, though.
And that's actually normally what I get. Their pizzas are award-winning, but the calzone, you can get like 100 different things all stuffed into there.
Yeah, add your own.
Now
It's
you want a
perfect.
good calzone? Crestview High School.
Crestview High School.
has the best
Dripping
calzone.
in grease.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, they're so good.
So good.
Shout out to the Cougs lunch ladies.
Favorite lunch.
Oh, it's so
Calzone.
good.
Always double down.
I would always pack, and on calzone day, you would trade. I would trade my whole lunch for calzone. It was so good.
I always
Snack
love hearing
packs
that.
and a
It was
big
like
cracker
spicy
for calzone.
pepperoni too. Like it had. Like
Oh
a
my
little
gosh, it
spice
was
to
so good. It was like
an Italian pepperoni.
Yeah. It
There
was
weren't
fire.
a lot of edible meals at Crestview, but calzone day was like that was like a holiday at
Yeah.
Crestview.
Yeah.
I always hear when my kid comes home, she's at Mansfield City Schools, and she always gives shout outs to Miss Kim. Always makes everything better than I do. So good kudos to your lunch ladies for kind of finding their niche there with the calzones. And I'm actually curious too, because real quickly to go back to your story, the Ontario coaching staff, the championship match, Chris Miller versus Aaron
Yeah.
Eckert plus their wives, they never finished it. It got too
Darkness.
dark, they couldn't
Yep.
see. So I want to know if you guys ever finish it up, shoot me a text and we'll drop you a line on the Twitter or something. We need to know who the champion was of the first showdown.
And that match started, you got a little bit of light, but that thing was going on for a good hour and a half, I think.
Yeah.
I forget who it was, had to beat Miller twice in the final, and then Miller had to just get one win. They were down big, they tied it up, a couple people went over, but it's still going on due to darkness. I don't know if they finished it yesterday.
All right, well, we've seen a lot of big boys that probably got down on some pizza, I would say, at the Ontario 7-on-7s over the weekend, where Kenton, they kind of stole the show. They won both the lineman and the tournament championship. The Wildcats also knocked out Mansfield Senior in the tourney, but to me, the Tigers looked good. They were the most impressive team that I saw, other than the Wildcats. Wildcats are the real deal, man, and I thought what was most impressive is that for the lineman challenge, at least for the tug of war, they put in 2 teams, an A and a B team, and they met each other in the championship. So for a team that throws it around a lot, look out for Kenton to get back into the tournament and do some damage. But real quick about these Tigers, Amar Davis. Remember the name, folks. I know he goes to Mansfield Christian. He's not a true TY Tiger, but boy, they get that sophomore out there on the gridiron, and that kid can flat out fly. When he was in the game, Brock Hill was splitting signal caller duties. He wasn't the main starter, so I'm not sure if there's a quarterback controversy over there. I know G-Man looks like he's a little bit stunned to hear it. I was too, because when those two were in the game together, he was virtually unguardable. I think that kid caught every single ball that was thrown his way, and if you just look at the skill guys that the Tigers have, they should probably score in the 40s this year, I think just about every single week. So that was my experience getting to see them up close and personal. I also spent a lot of time with Ontario, who's the exact opposite right now. They're going to try to ground and pound you because their skill kids all graduated. They welcome back just 2 starters. They have a freshman and 2 sophomores competing for the starting quarterback job. So if Chris Miller and Eckert are going to earn their money this year, boy, they're going to do it with some youngsters running around on the field. So that was my top takeaways. Tigers look really, really sharp. Ontario, probably a year or 2 away from being in the position where Mansfield Senior is right now. But definitely impressed from what I saw from Mansfield. And I know that you were over in Lucas country checking out the Cubs and then also our beloved Bulldogs at East Knox. What did you see?
Yeah, it's crazy that Lucas is holding a 7-on-7 passing scrimmage, but they did. The Cubbies, they're completing some passes, had some long touchdown catches, but defensively they look solid. That secondary is back that shut down passing games last year, so it's going to be fun to see what the Cubs can do through the air, because 80% of the time it's going to be that RPO that run people over to the offense. But Lucas looking pretty solid in the passing scrimmage that we saw there. East Knox, they're getting their skill positions back. DeWater, running back that filled in late when their main guy went down with an injury last year, he's back. Quarterback, wide receiver, their secondary as well is back, but they were just slinging the ball left and right. They looked really crisp. So the Bulldogs, maybe another long playoff run. They weren't expecting to do it last year, but Coach Cody Reese, everybody got to the playoff, but they still made it to that quarterfinal where they fell to Shady Side, a team that made it to the regional final. But this year, it's that expectation back up there to making the 16-team playoff, making it maybe possibly to a regional final or maybe back to a Final Four. And then another team I saw was Mount Gilead. Despite only 4 wins the last couple of years, they have 46 kids coming out. New coach, he was the defensive coordinator at Highland. He actually said he was thinking about retiring from coaching, but then saw the gig at his alma mater at Mount Gilead came open, so he's back. Their passing game looked pretty solid. So they might be one of those teams in the KMAC that might surprise some teams, get a couple wins. You never know, but with 46 kids, I mean that's great for a school like Mount Gilead. So we'll see what he can do with them. But 3 teams, pretty impressed with.
Getting a chance to go home is always special, no matter where you're headed. And G-Man, I know that you got to go home and go head-to-head with some skills guys over at Crestview, some of the wide receivers. What's your opinion and your thought process on what we should see from the Cougars this year? Because, of course, we got them back on the OH.Report. We're going to be bringing you all their home games. What should the fans expect to see?
They got a lot of good skill positions outside, but I was talking to Coach Haverdale, and he was making fun of me because I came to a running team. That's what he said, even though they had Ross and Evan last year. So I would say they're probably going to go back more to ground and pound. They were dominant last year with Ross and Evan. Those are 2 guys that you're not going to see, every 4 years in high school. So I expect them to go more ground and pound, but I mean, they got the other Kuhn brother coming in, and Gabe Smedley and Addison Lamer on the outside. I mean, they're going to do damage on both, but I see them more as a ground and pound team now than last year.
And as a former lineman going to the 7-on-7s, I think it's kind of maybe newer, having all the lineman challenges and stuff. How much fun and how much did you get out of that? Because my personal perspective about the Ontario 7-on-7s, the big boys were the ones having the most fun and not the guys throwing it around.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I only went to one. It was up in Bucyrus, and It was a fun one. You got to lift weights, flip tires. I mean, it's competitive, but at the same time, like, you're all cheering on each other and stuff like that. You're just trying to get your new PR on the bench and stuff like that. And I went to a few 7-on-7s as a center. I just volunteered. I was like, I'll snap the ball because I always wanted to be a skill position. I feel like I was a small guy trapped in a fat guy's body, but I mean, that's just how I feel. But I love the mindset of the lineman and going in and trying to be the strongest guy. It was just a lot of fun. And besides, they always had the Italian sausage up there too. The stand, you had to get those, man. Those were fire. You got the T-shirt. I mean, it was just a lot of fun. The summer was a lot of fun for football until you got to August when 2-a-days started. So they're coming up. So be prepared, guys.
Yeah, and Bucyrus, that used to be the biggest 7-on-7 in the entire state, and now that Eckert is over at Ontario, this was just the first time Ontario's hosted. They're hoping that eventually, since they have the facilities, they can become now the biggest one in the state. Storm, any opinions, anything that you heard about these 7-on-7s or anything that you've seen from the local football scene over the last couple of weeks that you're just dying to let the people know about?
I just want to talk about 7-on-7s in general. I think that they're like the most fun thing in the summer. It's all passing all day. It's quick games. It's all just fun. It's like the best part about football all wrapped up into one. You don't get the big hits. But I still think it's fun, and I really love the lineman challenge. I just think that that's a good way to get everyone involved. So it's not just the skill guys that get to have fun all of the entire summer, and the linemen have to lift all the time. But I just think that that's a really cool way to get them involved. So I just want to talk a little bit about a 7-on-7 as a whole, and just how much I love summer football.
And I love it too, just as a media guy, because you get to stand right next to the head coaches. You're basically out on the field. It's so casual, but at the same time, they're trying to get something out of it. So I think Friday nights, of course, is the best.
Oh, yeah.
But, it's a pretty close number two, pretty comparable, just the opportunities that you get and how close you are to the action with the 7-on-7. So great weekend overall for our local teams.
Yeah, and I know you and I have seen a 7-on-7. You guys have seen one too. So I guess the question is, out of these teams that we've seen, who do you think has a chance to do something during the season?
Shelby.
I think we're all in agreement. Shelby Whippets, right?
And then Mansfield Senior.
Yeah, I think the Tigers, if they can, Brock Hill, for whatever reason, they were subbing him in and out. He would come in, throw a touchdown pass, and then he would sit out the next series. So if he's their full-time starter, he's just such a good athlete. He's a good kid. He's got the nice mindset. They have so many skill guys. It's unbelievable. They got about 3-4 Bradleys running around the field right now, and we all seen what Chioke was able to do his time where he went to Bowling Green and stuff back in his playing days. So I think the Tigers are loaded, but Shelby won't be the team to beat again. At least we think.
Isn't that crazy? You can graduate the best running back in the
school
history of
history.
the school,
Yeah.
and still be one of the best teams in the area. That's just nuts to me.
Well, when you get your quarterback back,
Yeah.
that usually helps, and they
And
got a
Blaine
pretty
Bowman.
special one.
And blame
Yeah,
both.
blame both.
And, Blaine. Yeah, we've seen him. He's got some skill set, don't he? All right. Saturday night ended in a bizarre manner at UFC 264 in Las Vegas, where Dustin Poirier defeated Conor McGregor for the second straight time, this time via a doctor stoppage after the notorious one broke his ankle at the end of round one. It's now the third loss for Conor, though, in the last 4 guys, and that was a brutal, devastating-looking injury. What's your thoughts, Travis, on if Conor can bounce back, or is he finished in the game of MMA?
Well, the way he was talking afterwards, I mean, Joe Rogan was interviewing him while he was still sitting in the octagon, and him talking smack, saying, I'm coming back, I'm going to be back. And then he just had surgery, I believe, last night. He comes out and said, give me 6 weeks, and I'm going to fight back. He wants revenge. He wants revenge. I mean, he was talking smack, saying that Poirier's wife was DMing him on Twitter and stuff like that.
I'd
And
like
he
to
was even
validate
talking-
that, if that's true.
Yeah, he was
He's
even
got a
talking smack
screenshot.
right afterwards, saying that, hey, she was in my DMs. I'm still coming for you. So he thinks that was just a fluke fight. Didn't happen because he got hurt himself, although it was because he kicked him. I mean, it was just such a big muscle that he's kicked that it kind of fractured it. And then when he went for, I don't even want to talk about it, just replaying that vision of what happened in my mind, just the way it
Conor's
snapped.
been the UFC's biggest star since Ronda Rousey stepped away from the game. He kind of took over and filled that void. So I'm going to miss him if he's gone. Do you think he'll be back to the same Conor that we've seen? He's still in his early 30s, so he's not washed by
I
any
don't
stretch.
think he's washed at all. I think people are discrediting Dustin Poirier. Dustin Poirier is like only the 3rd fighter in UFC history to reach 20 wins in the quickest way. I mean, he's not fighting chumps like Dustin Poirier and then Khabib. Khabib has not lost at all. He submits people. It is insane for people to say he's washed over 3 losses. I mean, he's fighting serious fighters, and he's hanging in there with them. Now, Dustin won round 1, but does the fight always end in round 1? I mean, you still had multiple rounds left. You could have came back. You can't make a judgment call saying he's washed because he's lost to like 3 of the greatest fighters in UFC history.
Yeah, that's fair.
I think it's blasphemy.
Yeah, Dustin, I think, is the king of that division and will get the belt back here soon. So I'm with you, man.
Yeah.
I've been on Poirier since all the way in his fight.
The UFC needs him. He carried that. That was the most pre-bout fight in UFC history. They need Conor McGregor, regardless, even if he wins. He's the biggest superstar in UFC history. It's simple as that.
Yeah, I know they got your money. Me and Travis was watching the fight too. Storm, did you see what happened? And what's your thoughts on Conor?
Yeah, I saw it happen, and I mean, I love the way Conor is. I love how he acts, but if you're gonna talk like that, you have to be able to back it up. He got knocked out last time versus Poirier. He got his leg broken this time versus Poirier.
But you say that's from Dustin? You think he broke his leg from Dustin?
Yeah, I do. I mean, he's been dealing with it ever since he took a break. He took a break to fight Mayweather, and ever since then, he just hasn't been the same. If you're going to talk like how he talks, which I love it, I think it's great publicity. I think it's great for the sport that he talks the way he does, but you got to be able to back it up. You can't say
backed it up.
He got knocked out. He
backed it up for the past 4 years. I mean, you're going to lose. You can't win everything. It's fighting. Like you're gonna lose. You're discrediting Dustin Poirier for being a great fighter.
No, and I agree that Poirier is a great fighter, but I just don't think that he's going to fight those fighters, but he's not ready. I don't think he'll ever be ready again. I'm not saying he won't ever win another fight, but the way he wants to fight, how he wants to knock people out in the first round, he wants to just go at them, like he's just, I don't think he'll ever be the old Conor ever again.
And in 2020, he knocked out Donald Cerrone.
He did, yeah. Donald was a little bit washed when they did that fight, though. That's kind of always been the notorious way, though. If he doesn't take you out in the first couple of rounds, normally Conor starts to drip off just a little bit. He likes to come out and tag you right away, so that is the Conor McGregor way. Of course, he likes to talk like some of us around here, too. But I tend to agree, if you are going to have that type of persona, he's the only one that's willing to talk about wife's DMs and this and that. You better get the dubs. So I don't know if people are going to keep buying it if Conor loses the next fight or the next fight. At some point, isn't talk cheap? Yep. No, because it's $75 to buy the fight, and we'll all keep buying it, won't we? Okay. Well, the reigning defending MLS champion Columbus Crew, they're well into their title defense now with the season about a month into play. And the team has some fancy new digs in downtown Seabus. Big League, what can you tell us about the season so far and how the new stadium is working out?
Well, Columbus opened it up on the 3rd against the number 1 team in New England. They tied. They were actually down 2-0, came back, scored 2 late goals to work that tie. And then the thing that was more interesting to me was a couple days ago, they went to Cincinnati in what they call the Hell is Real matchup, because if you're driving on 71 between Columbus and Cincinnati, you see that big old sign that says Hell is Real. So they made it into a rivalry, but since Cincinnati took a 2-0 lead, Columbus got red carded. They're down to 10 men, but somehow, some way, they scored 2 goals to fight back and get a tie that just decimated Cincinnati and their fans. Columbus had a little corner of those Crew fans up there that were going crazy afterwards. But so first part of the Hell is Real series went, I guess you could say, to Columbus despite it being a tie. But Columbus right now, they sit in 8th place, but they're tied with the Red Bulls in New York City for the 6th and 5th spots. 7 teams make the playoffs, but Columbus is only a win out of 3rd place. They're still doing things. The new stadium looked amazing on ESPN on the day before 4th of July. The place was rocking. I think the Columbus fans are going to come back, especially since COVID's over. In a way, COVID's over. Fans are coming back. People want to come out to games, so this is the perfect time to open this place up because that place is going to be packed at least for the rest of the season. Hopefully the playoffs. Hopefully we can get a credential, get down there. That'd be a great atmosphere to see. But I think Columbus has what it takes. They've had some contracts get taken back from teams, and they've had some injuries. But despite that, they're still hanging in right now. And if they can get back to playing Columbus Crew soccer, I think they can make another run and possibly go back-to-back, which would be awesome for the city of Columbus, especially what they've gone through the past 2 years with almost losing the team, having the Haslams buy them, get the new stadium. So I think, this is a big culmination of everything.
maybe it's because I live in Mansfield and we're north of the city, so it was convenient for me, but I have always been a sucker for MAPFRE Stadium. I thought it was the perfect layout. I thought they had all the parking, everything in place. So I get that it looks beautiful now in their downtown arena district to have that new stadium. So I guess I'll pose this question to you, G-Man. Are you more apt to go see the Crew now because they do have a fancy new stadium, or does that matter to someone like you?
As a casual soccer fan, I don't know if I'd buy a ticket, but I might drive by the stadium, take a look at it. I don't know if I'd pay to see it. I'm just not into the professional soccer game like some people are, just not for me, but maybe, you never know.
You gonna check out a Crew game sometime?
If they're cheap. Like Garrett said, not really a big soccer guy, but it'd be cool. Like if I was given the tickets as a gift, I would definitely go, but I don't think I would ever go to a game. I'd much rather
about it.
Yeah, I would just kind of go. I'd go and drink a few Blue Moon by myself, like sitting there in the stadium.
By myself.
By myself. I don't know if I'd find someone to go with me or not, but I would be more apt to go to a Browns game or even an Indians game or a Cavs game. So, not really a soccer guy, but I really think it's cool for the city. I think it does brings a lot of culture to the city.
Well, I will say this. I think it was approximately 4 or 5 seasons ago. My friend works for Barbasol. They're the #1 supporter and sponsor for them. So I was getting free loge seats, and me and my family went to like 4 or 5 Crew games. Those fans are better than NFL fans. Those fans are better than the Indians fans. They get it lit at that place.
Yep.
The electricity in the building. Again, I'm not a big soccer guy. I didn't know any of the players out there. Didn't really understand. Well, I get the game, but I didn't really understand like the standings in MLS or anything. But man, just to be a part of that environment, I think it is worth your money. If you guys can go out there, have a couple Blue Moons, and enjoy some football, as they call it, at that level.
And MAPFRE Stadium actually was the first MLS-only stadium in
right.
Major League Soccer. And even though it's kind of open air, it's not a full bowl in there, it was still loud. But now this new stadium has the half roof over it. It's a full, completed circle. I think that's just going to make it even louder for these Nordique fans. And I know for the first official game down there, they did a march down the street past past Huntington Park, past the hockey arena. They get down there and it was a huge spectacle, place packed up. It was great, and hopefully it's something they do for every match because that's just cool. Some fanfare things to do beforehand. March down with the main fans and get in there and just take over.
Well, here tomorrow, actually, we're going to be taking over Pittsburgh. Half the crew here. Me, Travis,
We're going
and Storm.
home.
We're going to be heading out, and we're staying next to some stadiums, Travis. So tell us about the area that we're going to be at and what makes your Pittsburgh stadiums cool. I'm willing to listen for a minute.
So before these stadiums were built in the 90s, it was just Three Rivers Stadium. There's nothing on the North Shore. We're staying on the North Shore, but now once PNC Park got built, said one of the you know what, Cleveland boy, you're not even going. Go back to Bueller's and just cut your
30 seconds down. Wrap it up, Travis.
PNC Park and Heinz Field are great places. There's a lot of restaurants, a lot of bars, and I know you like the casino. Rivers Casino is right down there too, but we've got a couple suites opened up, and it's going to be a good time. Best ballpark in America. At least you get to see the outside of it when we get down there.
Best ballpark with the worst ball team. How do you like that? What a connection. How that all marries together there.
They're #1 pick this year. They're bad, but they'll be good in a couple years.
Well, real quickly, I don't know how much you guys have had an opportunity to travel around and see some of the other stadiums across America, but do you have a favorite stadium that you've ever been to, Storm?
Palace of Auburn Hills, easy choice.
Nice.
The atmosphere in there, I went and the Pistons sucked and it was still awesome. It was bumping. It was like a Tuesday night game and it was still just incredible. I'm so sad that it's the Little Caesars Arena now. I like how it's more in the city, but man, there was nothing like going to the Palace of Auburn Hills.
Favorite place you've been to, G-Man?
The Horseshoe, definitely. And I sat all the way at the top. I was the second row to the top, but I get to go down to Paul Brown Stadium to watch the Vikings Bengals this year, so I'm super excited about that one. We'll see if that maybe tops my list.
And then you said PNC Park?
No, I've been to Yankee Stadium. New Yankee Stadium for a football game. I went for the bowl game a couple years ago. West Virginia played Syracuse.
That's like ordering French fries from a pizza place.
Yeah, right. But that was pretty cool. Go see the monument area behind center field and stuff. But yeah, Yankee Stadium. But then PNC Park. You can't beat the view once you get into the stadium. But yeah.
I think I gotta go with my guy G-Man, and I've had the exact opposite experience. I've been so spoiled. Every single game that I've been at Ohio Stadium, I've been down on the sidelines. But just when that place gets rocking, it truly is deafening. You feel the grass underneath your feet. It starts shaking. So that's just different than anything that I've experienced in any other sporting venue. When you get 110,000 people together, whoo-wee, that's a good time. We're going to be getting an interview while we're there with Ontario great Mark Wilkins, who was a pitcher for the Pirates for many years, and his wife Katie Wilkins, who is a new morning show host of the biggest show out there in Pittsburgh. So we're going to have that lined up for you guys coming up here in the next couple of days. And these challenges too, let us know. Who wants a piece? We out here. We're ready for some action. And summer, it's coming to an end. So if you want some, we better get it on soon. I'm Brian, Travis, Storm, G-Man. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.